Hello survivors, hello, welcome to the stream guys, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you had a good weekend. Feels good, sounds good. Feeling good about it. I'll be with you in just a second. Okay, guys. How are you feeling today, guys? Have a good weekend? It was pretty relaxed for lockdown. One night, I got a really amazing night's sleep. You know when you get a really good night's sleep and you just know it and you're just like, wow. Wow. Why can't they all be like this?
Feels good.
Hey, Moon.
Sounds good.
40 months, brother. That's nuts. That is nuts. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much for the rejoin. I do appreciate that. Top of the stream today, guys. Cygnus, Christian, and hello there. Thank you very much for tuning in, you three. Top three. We also have Margot, Bashal, Sean. Hope you guys are feeling good. And of course we have Moon. What's up, Kenneth? Daylight, Joseph. Welcome to the stream, guys. Hope you're feeling good. My sleep pattern is terrible. My sleep pattern has been pretty bad, honestly. I will be honest. But part of it was because I was having issues with my neck and stuff. Yeah, just as Moon brings it up, my neck's feeling like it's feeling a little bit sore. Like it, you know, it feels like it's been through the wars. But my back, neck, everything's fixed. You know. I don't know if I told the full story of the situation that happened to me. I told it to a couple of people. I've told it to my brother at least. So I can't remember who I've told it to basically. Like I had a little bit of shoulder pain in my right shoulder, and then it went onto the right side of my neck, and then it went onto the left side of my neck. Then it went to my left shoulder, and then it went to my left leg. And that was over the course of like 10 days. It was really weird. Like, so for a couple of days it was in my shoulder. For a couple of days on the right side of my neck. A couple of days left side of the neck. For like one day it was on the left leg. It was really odd. And having like just a left leg that is... it was really strange. Because it was only one of my legs. Like, it felt like my leg was just going to give out at any moment when I was just walking. I could hold my weight, but it just felt like my ligaments were just going to be like, nope. It was so strange. So strange. But all feeling better now. I don't know what it's about. I know it's about. I know like all the nerve endings are attached and everything, and that's basically how it works. And, you know, when it comes to pain that is it radiates or something like that. But I've never had it happen to that extreme before. I've had it go from like shoulder to back, or like back to shoulder, or you know, shoulder to like elbow or something. But like this was some full body experience I wasn't ready for. But yeah, I'm pretty much better now, thankfully. Daylight 40 months equals 3.3 years. Yeah, it's getting close. Well, actually, is it 3.3 years? It should be. I guess it is. I guess it is. 42 would be 3.5, right? Sisterhood of Traveling Pains. Yeah, I think it's like a normal thing. I googled it because I was like, what does this mean? And it was like, yeah, pain radiating is kind of normal when it comes to like ligament and nerve stuff, and yeah. Of course, my brother like to joke with me. And when I told him that, he said, it could be a worm. And I was like, yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. No, it's not, but thanks. Thanks for just making me feel better about the situation. Yeah, didn't think I could feel worse, but thanks. But yeah. What's up, Seren? Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for tuning in. The doors when you... Wait, the doors when you feel strange. What? You what? 3.33, get it right. Look, who is more worth it, Aaron or Circuit? I think... honestly, it's a tough choice. It's a tough choice. This is the last chance to get Circuit. You know? They haven't really come up with a game plan for what happens after the second time around. They're kind of making it up as they go along, guys. And it's not a good one. It's not a good story so far. Like, they don't seem to know what they're doing when it comes to the next part. They came up with the first part. We released the character. That bit they've got down. Let's be honest. They've got the release of the character down. They can release a character. The second release is a little bit... Does it happen at the right time? Does it happen in the right order? You know? That one's a little questionable. What happens after that? Who knows? Who knows? No, they don't even know. Like, I think there's some easy ways to fix this, but they don't even know. But whatever. Moon needs 8 more months to make it 4 years. Yeah, and he gets a blue badge. And I think when he gets the blue badge, his mod badge thing will just look like he's got... Entire thing will be blue. It will just be blue name, blue icon, blue badge. I'm thinking of spending money for one of them. Okay, here's my thoughts on these characters. Circuit makes other strong characters stronger. The issue you've got though is there aren't very many good strong characters. This is straight up the issue. So she's making characters stronger that don't exist yet. So you're banking on them potentially bringing out more characters that are going to be good. Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you very much. I big appreciate it. Big. Now she does make older characters a little bit better, but that's about it. Now, obviously, that's not her whole kit, but that's one of the biggest premises of her kit is that she boosts strong characters. Like, if you compare her to Andre or Kyle, who both do the same thing, or Martinez, they all do the same thing in terms of boosting the stats of a character, of their trait. She is easily the worst. Like, easily the worst, but it's not her fault. It's not her fault. It's the fault of... like the game's release of characters has not given us very good strong defense characters. All strong teammates get 45% defense is a nuts buff. But then when we look at the strong characters that have been released, Crag, Winter Benjamin, Thanksgiving Dale, all attack, Carl defense, that's it. Axel, off duty Shane, Preach, all attack. Maybe Rosie, Ophelia. Like lots of attack characters here. Scotsman, Brutus, Ronaldo, Nick, Ghost, Tyan. There's so many offensive strongs, man. It's mad. I even said that when I did my my tier list at the end of last year. They've got so many offensive strong characters, but barely any good defensive ones. And honestly, I used to love good defense. Like, I mean, Marcus has had a little bit of a comeback because of her. I see Marcus and her teamed up because of the anti-stun that he brings to the table is really good. The focus, obviously, on her weapon. Like, she brings other stuff to the table. She isn't a useless character by any stretch, but, like, she's just not as good when it comes to that part of her kit because of the other characters that exist. But I still really like her. That's why I pulled for her when she first came out. That's why I use her on my defense teams. I use her in a team with Rosie and William. William's good for anti-burn bleed, and he's kind of still required to a certain extent, but his stats are really bad. Like, where is he? His stats are pretty bad. Did he come out? No, he didn't come out that far ago. Like, if you look at his defensive stats, look how equal his stats are. He's got like same attack as defense HP. I don't know if they knew he was going to be attack or defense. I mean, he is more of an. I think he's more of an attack support, to be honest. He works. I mean, wait, isn't one of his things only work on defense while battling on the defense team? So it's kind of weird. Also, the passive, right? When battling on the defense team, so he has got 2 on the defense team things, but his stats are more offensive, or at least they're not like defense team stats. They're just like, it was of the era of very balanced stats. Although we had Mike come out a little bit earlier than him, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be a bit more. Yeah, he's a little bit more defense than HP. But even he's got, like, if we compare it to like one of the more recent characters that got released. Let's compare it to Raiden. Man, Aaron's not even in here yet. You see the difference? 20k, 20k, 10k versus, what was it? 17, 17, 15 for Mike. So you can see the stat balance just gets massively skewed. And this is part of what's it called? This is part of power creep. Stat balance. How stat balance goes is what did I just say? How stat balance goes. that was a tongue twister and a half, actually. How stat balance goes is part of how power creep is. Because if you look at this character, right, compare the stats, 10k, 20k, 20k, it's going to be the same sort of totals. But if we go all the way back to the start and go to the first promo released, which will be Zeke, I'll be very surprised if he has less than 15k attack. Very surprised. Where is he? Zeke? Did I pass him already? No. Zeke. There we go. See the difference? It doesn't seem like that big a difference, but it is massive. It's massive because it basically everything comes afterwards, you know. Lieutenants, then weapons, leader skill, then those passives.
Good.
Hey,
Sounds
thank you very
good.
much, Seren, and congrats again to Daylight, apparently. Daylight again. This guy. Shake my head, my head. I'm back on the fence. You are on the fence. You are indeed. Daylight's just like sitting outside the community, just be like, please let me in. And every now and again, someone's like, okay. Thank you very much, Seren, for the gifted sub. And congratulations to Daylight for getting it. Congrats. Did every faction get Walkers done? I'm pretty sure. It wasn't too difficult, right? I logged onto it pretty much being done. Active faction's gonna just rip through it while I'm asleep for the first 12 hours of it or whatever it is. My goodness. I did OG Wayno cans. Wait, wasn't it? It was faction based, right? You didn't have to do anything solo from what I remember. I could be wrong, but yeah. My faction is still recovering from our transfer not that long ago. Interesting. At least I'm inside the walls, yeah. Seemingly, yeah. Indeed, indeed. But yeah, thank you very much, Seren, for the gifted sub. Massively appreciated. Or gifted membership, should I say. It's not a sub, is it? Subs are different things here on YouTube, and subbing is free, guys. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'm pretty sure most of you guys will be. But if you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Don't test it by unsubscribing and then resubscribing, because it actually tells me how long you've been subscribed for, and if you do that, it zeroes it out. There's some people being subscribed for a long time, although you have to. I think you have to have public subscriptions turned on. I don't know exactly how that part works. I swear, if any new people watch your streams, they must be like, why is this mod so mean to this Daylight film? Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Lock, should I save the tokens I get for a better character? It's completely up to you. Honestly, the only time you should ever pull for defense characters is if you're sitting there and going, you know what? My attack is looking pretty good right now. I'm pretty solid. The only thing I'd say, just a little word of warning, these are like a new like batch of defense characters that are like better than the old defense characters. So there's more likely going to be a teams they've accumulated, you know, put together for them to work together. It's only going to be very particular players that get those teams, but if you want to have a better chance to beat those teams, you should pull for attack characters, and those will probably come out after the defense teams, you know? It's kind of like the standard way they do things is release the problem and then release the solution. Release the problem, release the solution. That's how it's done in gacha games. It's always been like that in RTS, you know? And it's, you know, it's nice to have a nice defense. I'm not going to lie, it is nice to have a nice defense, but it's better to have a good, nice attack. Straight up. I've got a Telltale story this week. Nice. Nice. Oh, the burn team. This isn't just a burn team. This is actually kind of a wrecky team. Slasher Alpha plus some other Ransack is a good option against Halo teams. I like to use it against teams I can't tell one. Wait, Slasher Alpha? You use Slasher Alpha on attack as you're what, an attack leader? Plus some other Ransack is a good option against Halo teams. Huh. Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. I do wonder if, like, you could potentially... I mean, it will massively reduce his damage output, but, like, if Agent 46 holds the ransack weapon, does he ransack Halo before he kills them? I mean, I assume he would. But his damage output would just be, like, down to 0. Is ransack 3rd slot or 4th slot? In my head, it feels like a 4 slot, but for some reason, I think it's a 3rd. I think it's a 3rd, isn't it? Oh, Slasher Beta. Right. Yeah. I was going to say, I'm not sure about that one. I was like, some special, like, daze tactic or something. I might want to say for an attack character then. Yeah, Raven's going to come back around as well. Raven's really good. So you could pick up Raven, or you could get a new character. I would say Raven is probably the best of the advanced characters that they released. She's the best of Agent 46. Although I guess it comes down to your personal play style as well, but I think out of Agent 46, Raven, Harrison, and I think they released another one. I can't even remember who the other one was. But out of those characters, she was, I think, the most powerful. She has the best controlled damage early fight. You know, your signature move only goes to a line. You know who it's going to hit. She has decap potential. You know, I guess you could check the box on all the other characters as well, because both of them are decaps. There's a lot of decaps, actually, just thinking about it. All 3 of those are decaps. It's kind of nuts. Huh. I need someone to pick on, and you're too nice. Wait, you're mean to delete because no, it isn't here. Yeah, maybe. Could be. I've been busy away last few streams myself. It's all good. I know you jumped in a previous stream and just said, gotta go. Pretty much straight away. It's the way it goes. I do appreciate you guys when you turn up, but don't ever feel like you have to be here or anything. It's nice, but if you've got more important things to do, I understand. I get it. Hey, what's up, Ruben? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for tuning in. Heal stun ransack OP. Okay, so ransack is 4 slot. For some reason, I thought my brain, like, cause wait. Strong attacks is 3rd slot though, right? It's weird how some of the buffs work. Hit me with... I'm just going to go for the watch and stuff. I generally actually complete this roadmap just because it's like guaranteed gear. Whereas I can do like a stage to try and get these things. It costs pretty much the same energy. And I can't guarantee the things that I'm getting here. Now, yeah, sure. I don't necessarily need these things, but... Like right now, but I will. At some point, you know. Sophia was the 4th. Nah, she's Ultra, but I mean, I get you. She probably was the 4th I was thinking of, but... I thought there was a 4th Advanced, honestly. And she can destroy Nor, so probably we'll go for her. Yeah, she's good against Nor. She's also good against Sebastian Milton. If you manage to get like a character that can just steal away the buffs. She's pretty good against him as well. Always annoyed this past day. Super S-Class roadmap. I have nearly done it all. Super S-Class roadmap. I sometimes remember to do it. I sometimes do. Like, yeah. And it's cost 50 energy. What you get for 50 energy seems pretty decent. Versus if I was to go on the world map and do 50 energy, I'd get lower tier stuff than this that I don't need. And this stuff you need, right? So, might as well farm it to a certain extent. Well, not farm it. I might as well do it. The last section is always worth doing because I always do it back to front as well. I know probably some of you sitting there like, why are you doing it back to front lockdown? Because the reason you do it back to front, I know this is going to sound just stupid, but is I want to always remember to do, this is the one I have to do because I get some medals here, not much, but I get some medals, here. But if I can, I'll do the other ones, but the most important gear is the higher tier, so like you work from like back to front that way. So you're just guaranteeing the highest tier of gear that you haven't got already. Is my idea anyway, because sometimes I might do it this much and then I might forget to do the rest, which isn't a big deal. Whereas if I flipped it on its head and I only did the first 3 and didn't do the last 2, yeah, that'd be a bigger problem. That'd be a bigger problem, especially if I was to do that consistently. Although I do try and do these on streams, so yeah, that's what it is. I don't see this moon pick on me because I joke back. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's in good fun. If anyone ever has any issues with anything directed at them personally, you only need to let me know and I'll ban moon from my channel within 1 second, no problem. It's all good. You'll have to make a new account and start his streak from zero months. See, look, I can do jokes too. Anyway, sorry. My jokes are good though, because Moon's like, wait, what? Anyway, sorry, getting back on track. Allergy's been going mad, been coughing like crazy. Yeah. I haven't ever had allergies my entire life, right? And then suddenly, one summer, I just got some, like, allergy issues. There must have been, like... Because you know how, like... I'm pretty sure... I could be making this up, though. But I'm pretty sure that... When there can be, like... It's, like, strains. There can be strains of different seeds. I think I'm allergic to, like, one strain. And it's, like, ultra rare or something. Because one summer, it was a problem. My eyes watering and stuff quite a lot, and it wasn't like, I know some people get hay fever and stuff with grass, but I'm always been outside, never had any issues, and then one summer it just went crazy, and that was like 7 years ago, and then it hasn't happened since. So it's like really weird. But yeah, it's kind of good to experience it once in your life just to know, actually, yeah, that gets me. Tree pollen gets me. My mom had this issue, right? What's the conker tree? Is it horse chestnut? She has issues with horse chestnut trees, and we were driving through like a forest. We were like in, where were we? I think we were. I think we were near like Western Supermare, but like south of Western Supermare, so there was forests around there. Used to have a caravan in that area, and Somerset. We used to have a caravan in Somerset, and there's a lot of like trees in that area. Like there's like I mean like there's literally a forest and there's just a road cutting through it. And it must have been the season. My mum just went blind while she was driving. It was like, I can't see. So my dad had to take the wheel and like drive along because there's nowhere to stop, and until there was a lay-by or whatever you want to call it. It was kind of hilarious. I don't have many memories from when I was a child, but that was one. That was an experience. That was a real experience. I want Georgia so badly. I think she's maybe coming around. I think she's coming around. There's a potential that she could be good now. She just had too many issues with payback before, but now I think there's potential that she's got a chance now. I think. Don't be mad, be angry. Okay. Hey, what's up, Paul? Welcome to my stream. Thanks for tuning in. I have no clue what's going on with me though. Ain't no trees around. And it could be like, it could be dust and stuff. It could be like in the UK it's really windy right now. I had an issue earlier where I kept on hearing rattling in my computer room. I was like, what is that? It sounded like, imagine you've got a can, like I've got an empty can here, I think. Yeah. So imagine this sound here, right? Basically a can just like banging against something. And I was like, what am I hearing? And it was the tree outside my front door just hitting like a little metal panel on the outside of my house. But there's no way I could stop that. It was just so windy, it was just doing my head in. But I was hearing that like constantly. It was so frustrating. What are you gonna do? I think we're gonna just play for this roadmap, guys. Let's get some. Oh, it's okay. It's some season 4. All right. It's some season 4. You never want to hear the driver suddenly scream out, I can't see. Yeah, pretty much. That was it. That was it. Why is his art back to front, guys? Riddle me this. Like the E on his things the wrong way round. Why have they done this? Like, they've obviously done this on purpose, right? If Clementine comes along and her hat's the wrong way round. Okay, they got the hat the right way round. We're good. I'll take the Telltale Squad, you know, just to make it more realistic. Now that I'm older, things bother my nose and eyes. I mean, it potentially could have been that, but it only happened once. It only happened once. It was, and 7 years ago, I was a little bit younger, you know, a little bit of a younger gun at that point, but yeah. I know one thing, I'll be glad when this winter crap is over with bring on the spring already. It snowed in the UK this week. Like, it snowed in the UK. I read that and I was like, nah, it's never gonna snow. The next day, I opened my front door. There was snow all in my garden. I was like, oh, I mean, I guess it will. It was quite cold for a couple of days, to be fair. It was quite cold, but I thought London would maybe get away with it because we have like this, I don't know, a bit more heat in the city, so it can be hard for snow to really accumulate, but yeah. Don't forget to hit the like button. Yeah, thank you very much for hitting the like button, guys. We've got over 20 likes on the stream already. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Must be Russia with the backwards ease, maybe. Yes, allergies and pollen bother me more. Yeah, but I've never had it bother me ever. Which is kind of weird because I'm quite a... I'd say I've got like sensitive skin and stuff like that. but I don't have like sensitive sinus, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. I don't have sensitive respiratory system, but I have sensitive skin. Like, I can get rashes and stuff quite easily. Just, yeah. All would have been lost if they would have gotten Clem's hat right. I mean, they get it wrong on the roadmap from time to time if they're facing the wrong way, but it's because like these characters are mirror image, which makes sense, but the other one does make no sense. They had to actually, like, I think they have to actually flip the image the wrong way around to purposely do that, you know? Whereas these characters are mirror image, they only ever look left correctly. If they look right, everything looks wrong if they've got wording on them. So, like, if I slow it down, they're going to all look right now. And you can see the hats are back to front. You see? That's just been a forever thing. And I think it's to save... like, if you imagine if they had to do a character facing thing for left and right, they'd have to have twice the amount of assets, effectively. Although I guess they'd have to have some sort of design. Actually, they probably know. The character knows when it's facing left or right because obviously the skin's facing the right way. So that potentially wouldn't be too bad. They potentially could just make it so that only one part of it changed. But then there could be an issue with it, like flickering or something like that. Like there used to be an issue with what's her name? There used to be an issue with Lily. Like her hand didn't hold the crossbow very well, and it used to go in front of the like the arc around it. But it seems to be fixed now. Yeah, it seems to be fixed. I noticed that being quite an annoying problem. Small visual issue, but annoying nonetheless. Go on, duck. Yesterday we got a dusting of snow here. What about my people from UK? Anyone else get snow, or is it just me in East London? Actually, snow here in Phoenix this year wasn't enough to stick, but it was falling. Oof. It is currently flurries here in KY. What's KY? Is that Kentucky? Or is that that's Kentucky, right? I'm not very good with those two-letter geography. I got it right. That's great. Big tissue paper snowflakes today, but melted as soon as they landed. I haven't seen it snow. I'll say this. I haven't seen it snow in the UK in the last year, but I've woken up to it being like... I think I took some pictures and put on my Discord last year, like in December. It snowed in early December. I don't think it was snowing at Christmas, but around that time. Not looking forward to mowing season. Hate mowing so damn much. Mowing. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I've kind of got to get a grip on my front yard again. It got good, and then now it's kind of falling apart again. I just need to get. I've got like I've still got something at my house since before COVID that I was borrowing from my parents. Was like it's like a hedge trimmer. I just need to just use it and just destroy some stuff in my front garden, basically. I've got like a little mini tree forming. And it's kind of nice to have to a certain extent because it protects part of the fencing and stuff, but it just gets massive. I might just have to just trim it a little bit. Hopefully it'll be alright. I'm going to predict that the character is going to be Romanov. What? Oh, right, from the event. Could be. Could be. It could be a themed event as well. We have got some like international holidays coming up. or like known holidays like St. Patrick's Day and stuff. And we have had St. Patrick's Day characters in the past, whether it would be a premier character like last year. I think, didn't we have Priya last year? I don't think we had a free-to-play one. So it could, I mean, multi-week events, when things don't happen for 3 months, people just question, do these things still exist? I'd like to think multi-week events still existed, personally, just because it seems to be quite a foolish idea to remove something that's like a big part of the game for some people, myself included. I like the multi-week events. It's engaging. It's good for me as a content creator because I can create content about different parts of these events. It's good for people, you know, who are playing the game to have something to do. But we haven't had one for ages, like legitimately a quarter of a year now. The last one started in early December, and we're in like mid-March. So you're not allowed to talk about lawn care. I mean, I am. During COVID, I did not go outside my house, so my front garden got kind of like crazy. It got crazy enough that I had Royal Mail, which is the people who deliver mail to your door in the UK, gave me a letter, and it probably is just a standard letter that they give to people, where it basically was threatening me that they would not be giving me my mail in the future unless I sorted out my front garden. It wasn't that bad, honestly. I made sure that the path to my door was clear so people could still get to my door. I just didn't do anything else. And it's funny because when I cut it down, right, I had a couple of neighbors who were walking along when I was doing it, saying, oh, they really liked my garden, even though it was really overgrown, because it had a lot of nature in it and stuff. There was lots of bumblebees. There's lots of butterflies and stuff in my garden because I had like, I can't remember what the tree's called. It's the one that does like it's kind of like just imagine, this is a really bad description, right? Imagine a really big red chili, right? But instead of it being like a red chili, it's purple and it's flowery. It's like a cornelian or something like that. It's got a name like that, you know? There was 3 of those in my front garden. There's one still there, and it was attracting so many like little like thing. It had its own like it was almost like its own little mini bio environment, whatever you want to call it. It was great. But I got complaints. Even a neighbor complained. It's like, oh, yeah, overgrown garden. It's like, yeah, but you're just looking at it. It's not affecting you. It looked nice. The purple plants were nice. But yeah. So the second that letter came through from the mail service, I was like, okay, fine. I couldn't do much about it. I'm guessing they had to send those out quite a lot though. Because, like I say, COVID, I think a lot of people let it go. Ecosystem, that's the one. That's the one. And there were lots of bumblebees. And bumblebees are a problem. Lack of them, that is. So it was nice to see them. And I kind of felt sad because I felt like the next day, you know, bumblebees would have flown to my garden and then just been like, all the plants just gone and just been like, oh, okay. Like, oh, fine. Sad, I know, but yeah. We need another version of Princess. True, do we only have the one? She was legit. Let's be honest, Princess was really good. But I agree. Now, what could they make Princess... Like, if they had to do a holiday hero... I mean, I think Valentine's Princess would have been actually really good. That would have been sick. But is there another holiday that would really be good for Princess, thinking about it? They could just do another Princess, but... we think about holiday characters as well. We have 25 plus Celsius at the moment in southern Spain, getting towards summer. Yeah, it's starting to get warmer every now and again, but then in the UK we just had like a weekend or something, or a week of just suddenly cold. There was one particular day I was like, yo, what is going on? It is chilly. And I think it snowed like 2 days later, so yeah. We need another animal character. We can't get enough animal characters. We can't. It's impossible. So I guess you don't have a vegetable garden. I grow one thing just because I use them from time to time, and it doesn't save me much. It saves me like, I think it legitimately only saves me like $15 a year. So it's not even doing that much. But I grow red chilies. I have chili plants, but I have to have them indoors because UK weather is not it. You can't really have vegetable garden. Well, I guess you can for some parts of the year, but yeah. I used to grow strawberries when I was younger and stuff like that. It was just like for fun. But yeah, nothing crazy. Hey, what's up, Logan? Welcome to the stream. Anyone knows which character are going to return soon to the advanced recruits? They return in order, air quotes. So the last advance to return was isn't it Circuit right now? So like Circuit, and then afterwards it'll be like Axel and Carl 2K. I guess I'll go find another. Yeah, exactly. And then the butterflies as well. And I know, it's kind of sad. I was kind of sad to a certain extent. I mean, there is still one there, but there was 3 before, and it was when I'm not to underplay it. It was buzzing, guys. There was so many. I mean, some people really don't like insects and stuff like that, but like I love the ones that are like the friendly ones, you know, nature friendly ones. We're not talking like a wasp's nest or something. Just, you know, butterflies and bumblebees and stuff. The ones that make things continue. I could see a 4th of July princess. That seems like she'd... Oh yeah, that would actually be legit. I think they'd probably have to have already done it though, as a character. Otherwise, yeah. What else could they potentially? She'd potentially be part of. You guys don't celebrate anything UK, do you? I was gonna say could do fireworks night, like Guy Fawkes. It's surprising that America does so many other holidays but doesn't do any UK stuff at all. The UK has a couple of ones. Like we have Pancake Day. That just fits really well in RTS, I think. It fits really well. I wish they'd make Michonne stronger. What the decap? Just make her attack stronger. I mean her stat balance. I grow basil and thyme just because they're so good fresh. That's what I mean. Like, I think a lot of people, the things they grow are just, it's more just, not to save money and stuff, but it's just more ease. It's easy to do it. But also, like you say, it's nicer fresh. Like red chilies are nice. My ones aren't as good as the one from the store though. They're not like chunky. They're quite like thin and underfed. I think I've got to have better soil and stuff because like for the nutrients, I think that's what's gonna have to happen. Invest in like a good soil bag. What if they tried to make Princess look like Krampus for like a Christmas one? I mean, we're quite a way out from Christmas. I don't think she fits that. Like, I kind of see Princess as being like all fluffy and fierce, you know. Or like Moon said, like explosive sounds pretty good. $3.99 a pound, not bad. What are we talking about? We do Pi Day, or did I should say. There's no more Pi Day. Pi Day sounds pretty good to me. Hey, what's up, Tiago? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you very much. I'm not sure, guys. Is the beta update forced, or is it still in beta? I did look to see if I could download a new update, but I can't, so I don't know if it's been forced yet. It's hard to know. It seems to be, like, air quotes, working for me. I couldn't test out the war stuff because they didn't allow enough mercs, unfortunately. Hopefully, I mean, I saw some people getting 600k and stuff, but they probably were actually, like, warring. It's not the cases. Right, Bretland. This is our, like, personal communication system. It's A, really strange that it exists, but B, kind of cool at the same time. I'm not gonna lie, it's just all around really strange. For whatever reason, Bretland can speak to me in Morse emote. Like, he has a panel on his screen somewhere with a pop-up that basically allows him to press an emote, and it animates it on my chat screen, and he's the only one who seems to have it. At least I hope he is, because if everyone gets it, it's going to be crazy. Do other people see it, or is it just me? Like, if it's everybody, that's actually hilarious, but I think it's just me. Tomatoes better homegrown and herbs, peppers. Yeah, I think herbs are easy to do. Peppers are nice. Just you. It's so weird. It's so weird. I have an update to the app. Well, you have an update to YouTube. That's actually hilarious. That's so cool. I'm pretty sure you're beta testing something, but it is hilarious that it's just so odd. Honestly, I've even Googled it. I haven't seen it mentioned anywhere. It's so strange. I have a lot of summons in All Stars if you feel like it, you know, for content. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not really sure about the rules of me like logging on someone else's account and doing the polls. I do get a lot of summons myself. Honestly, I should have messaged All Stars like for the last 3 or 4 months. I haven't done it for ages, where like I give them my content info, because they've got a reward system based on how well your videos do, and I haven't done it for months. So I'm due quite a lot of rewards there. I just haven't got around to it. Pi Day was based off of the pi when you put in the numbers. Okay, so it was 3, 4, 15. We won't be around for the next Pi Day. All right, okay. Okay, that's funny because for us in the UK it'll be 31st of April. What's up, 8 Page? Welcome to the stream. A little bit of a late start today, no? A little bit. Started about 50 minutes ago. So a little bit. I do mean to start at 7:30 my time, but generally I start at 8:15 now. I think I'll start a little bit earlier when there's something to start for. I'm not like, sometimes I sit here, guys, and it's like it's 7:30 my time, and I'm looking at my screen with Photoshop open with the like thumbnail creator, and it takes me 40 minutes to create a thumbnail because I'm just not not motivated, and B, there's nothing to talk about. And it's been this way for honestly like 2 or 3 months. It's really been bad. So it's terrible, honestly. This is like hell for a content creator. There's nothing to create content for. There's literally just nothing. If you look at my channel, I haven't really created much content outside of doing character previews and guides for characters because there's just nothing else is going on in the game pretty much. So yeah, honestly, and this is being genuinely honest now, you guys with green names right now are carrying the channel. You guys are absolutely carrying the channel. Because my views are way down. I'm getting like 50, 60k a month now, which is really, really bad for me. My views are way down. Whereas normally I'd be getting like 85 to 120k. I'm down to like 50, 60 because A, there's nothing to make content on, and B, the game obviously is in a bit of a downturn as well at the same time. So yeah, the green names, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It always reminds me of this. Sending my kids through college, but it's more like you're keeping my house in my hands. Thank you very much. You can't create content with no new content. I mean, I make the content, but there has to be something to make it on, you know? And there isn't really. There isn't. I've honestly been questioning things last month or so, questioning what to do. Because if the game stays like this for the next like 2 or 3 months, I think that's it, guys, for me. And I laugh about it, but it would be sad. I'm not carrying. I'm being dragged along. Yeah. The only person I wasn't talking about there was Daylight. All the other green names, you guys. Thank you. Daylight. No. Oh goodness. I love how they use the background of the actual Telltale thing. Like this one's a season 4 Telltale background. They don't actually have very many. Like actually they do. They have a couple at the school, right? So that's quite good. They give me Clementine. You got your fan club for sure, yeah. I mean, if you hit the subscribe button and watch my content, that alone's a lot. So I do appreciate it, but for me to be a full-time creator and actually do this as a main thing, even though there's not much to do on at the moment, I still do quite a lot of stuff as much as I can anyway. The green names are helping me out quite a lot. Still over 100 of you guys, so I do, like I said, I do massively appreciate it. New version has been in the App Store since last week, updated with my F8 autocompletes right out. You can't unassign defenses anymore. Not that it would help now. Oh right, so you're not on the beta update, Steve. I felt the same way lot for the past month. Yeah, I mean it'll hit people differently, but as a content creator, it's dreadful, honestly. And what's worse is like, just talking from a content creator's perspective here, All Stars isn't like a crazy good game to make content for, unfortunately, because it's so linear. Like, what makes RTS a game that was good for content creation was the fact that there was a level of choice on certain things. Like, even just something as simple as combat mods, right? And weapon upgrades. These things basically mean that because there's a choice, people want to have a second opinion, you know? But because there's no choice in something, like, All Stars doesn't have any choice. The only choice is, like, which character's a priority, not, like, how to do a character. Every character's the same. Like my Abraham's the same as the next dude's Abraham. It might change this in the future. Obviously, combat mods didn't come into RTS for a long time. But until they have some sort of customization, there's limited stuff in that game. But yeah, you should start a series starting from level 1. I mean, I've actually thought about it. I thought about it. Because the game is honestly all ahead of you at level 1. But I know this sounds crazy because it'll just go to the other extreme where it'll just be like way too time consuming to play 2 accounts at the same time. And I kind of dread doing things like Conquest every day and, you know, I mean, unless I got a good character, I mean, it's tough. It is tough. If any game goes downhill, so does any content attached, unfortunately. Yeah, to a certain extent. To a certain extent. I think I've noticed certain things with my analytics for the last year and a half. Like my subscribers, for instance. You can actually check this on a website. There's a website that tracks how many subscribers a person's got every month. And it got to a point where I was like in 200, 300 subscribers a month, and then it went from like 1 month to the next, and it was easy to see what the 1 month to the next was around. But I was getting like 10 to 15 a month after that. I've had 2 good months since then, but it's mainly been around promotions that Scopely have organised, and that was where I got like 200 extra subscribers. But it's generally been like 20 to 30 subs a month max, where I was getting like 250 to 300 before that. Like Mythic era has been pretty bad for the game, for like that side of things. Yeah, it just is. I think I was losing as many as I was gaining every day. I went over my analytics and I've had 25,000 subscribers total, but I'm at 16,000 right now. So I've had about 30% of the people who have subscribed to my channel unsubscribe, which isn't unusual. Like, this happens to every channel. Closed accounts, someone can unsubscribe and then resubscribe, and it just changed the analytics. Someone can just delete their YouTube account. It could be a bot account as well that subscribes to a channel so it can type in the chat and stuff like that. So there are different reasons it happens, but it's kind of interesting from an analytical standpoint. I love looking at analytics. It's always interesting because you can kind of break down how things work and why things work a certain way, because it's all automated, you know. There's no dude sitting there like, yeah, this video should get views. I lie. I think that does happen, but I don't think it happens on a grand scale, you know. But yeah. Since War of Champions, the game has felt blah. I only do faction stuff and a small amount of other stuff, but that's it. I mean, there's not much to do. I mean, you could take this as a good thing or a bad thing, but there's not much to do. You can do your daily stuff really quickly. From a player's perspective, it just means that the game's like boring and dull, but it's quick, you know? I spent more of my time playing a game I don't even make content on at the moment, and that's a bad thing. As a content creator, I need to either make content on that game or stop playing it. I'm still in that in my head. That's in my head on that game. But it's difficult. No beta regular game has all the changes. Force update will be sometime before Warpath, presumably. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you haven't updated already, you might be able to update now. It fixes your faction assault issues. So happy days. I'll do faction assault after this. A lot of time when there's this extreme lull in the game, they're finalizing a new thing. Yeah, but it's been 3 months, man. It's been 3 months. I don't think, like, I've talked about it in a couple of streams, it makes me think about certain things in the game a bit more. And like, we've got faction assault and war now. I think we only need like 1 or 2 other things for end game people to be able to do consistently, and I think it'll be fleshed out enough that even when there was a lull, you still got stuff to do, you know? I think they need to change the faction assault allegiances sometime soon in the next like 2 to 3 months to make it fresh again. Personally. Football Manager. Oh, that's something completely different. I'm playing that as well, but yeah. I'm nearly into my 10th season in Football Manager. It's going great. It's going great. I've actually thought about making content on that game, but that's just because content creators be content creating, basically. It wouldn't feel as fun if I had to make content on it, I guess. Wait, were they there? I can't remember if they were there. I know it's not going to be like proper accurate, but I don't have a clue why everyone wants World Champions so badly. It's not fun, and the rewards from last World Champions shows you that the effort is not worth it. They haven't even mailed out the coins to EO. I think they have to do it to first, second, and third, right? I guess they haven't mailed out the coins to anybody. I just want a War Season, not World Champions. I think it should go War Season, War Champions, repeat. Yeah, I think there should be 2 World Champions a year. And I think the World Champions should be a bit more condensed, you know? What was it, 6 qualifiers before? Just make it like 4, you know? Make World Champions like a 2-month thing rather than like a 4-month thing, whatever it was. And that way you can do it, and then like you say, you can have a bit more relaxed War Seasons in between. And then you have the World Champion seasons, you know? Seems like a cooler way of doing things. And then maybe they could even come up with a different idea to keep it fresh, so they have something else happen every now and again. Kind of how they tried to do, was it Tournament of Champions, TOC? And it was a nice idea on paper, but it kind of just was a bit, obviously, messy. But like something like that. You know? You know what I'm saying? I agree, World Champions is overrated for sure. I mean, the reason it happens is because it's going to make Scopely a lot of money. Because there's people who massively rate the competitive side of this game. Massively. And if you are massively into the competitive side of this game, you have to be also massively spending. It's just, it goes hand in hand. Like, you can't really be a really competitive player and not spend. Even if you spend minimum amounts, you might spend like $100 a month, like really well, you're still going to have to spend. You can't be a free-to-play who's dominating the competitive side. Or you could potentially be like the one free-to-play in your faction, or like a handful of free-to-play people in your faction. But these top factions won't let you play. Like, you see how they function. They have like their top 8 players, their top 10 players. And the other players just, they'll maybe let you play at the end, but if they're gonna have you, you know, they're gonna have you benched. So if you want to play the game, you can't be in these factions necessarily unless you're spending again. So it's like, but that's the whole thing. It's a money spinner. That's why it happens. But I think Scopely know if they do it too often, it can burn people out. I think the last World Champions was the best when it comes to burnout, though. I didn't feel any burnout after the last World Champions compared to the ones before that. And I think it was just because the system within the World Champions itself was nicer. Actually attacking was... Honestly, War was in its best state. As much as it still had problems with the whole, like, no 3 defense guarantees. And there was some, like... matchup issues. There's always been matchup issues, so that really can't really be seen as a thing. I still say War was in the best that it's ever been when it comes to like just enjoyment level. Maybe not like competitively, but just in pure enjoyment, it probably was the best it's ever been. So it was much more. It was much less stressful and much less like grindy. So it felt actually quite good. And I actually warred more than I actually needed to. You know, it was what I've talked about in the past. If you're enjoying it to a certain extent, you can war more rather than feeling like you have to. You can just do it because you want to, and I wanted to. So yeah. I think war's in like a reasonably good state gameplay wise. They desperately need to create other things though. Desperately. And I think they just need to get Hordes back in some way. And I say Hordes, and I know some people hate it. But the reason I say Hordes is because it's like, it requires the least work. So let's be realistic, we're not going to get a new game mode. I doubt we're ever going to get a brand new game mode. But they might look at Hordes and go like, we spend like a certain amount of hours on this just to tweak it a little bit, and it's going to be good to go. Because all they really need to do is change some stats. Realistically, that's all they need to do. You know? But they might need to add like 1 or 2 cards, like, or maybe make certain cards a bit more like work differently, how defense down works or something like that. Because I can see like a character like Peacekeeper being very hard to take down because he gets buffed when he gets healed. And he gets healed when an enemy dies, and he's gonna be killing enemies so often with his bide. So maybe they need even like a normalized walker or a normalized card for 1 turn, limited. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they could easily tweak those things. Now, if they wanted to put in more hours, I think they could make it really good and maybe make it like the walkers are permanent. So like you actually build your walkers up slowly but surely. You know? Kind of like pulling for walkers, but only during tournaments. Or like at the end of a tournament, you can choose which character you want to get to like a buff. Plus 5% attack, plus, you know, just like progression. Just for some sort of like fun side of things. But yeah. When Hordes first came out, I did not like it. I then worked out what I was doing and I really enjoyed it. I hope so Scopely stopped it. I alpha tested Walk Hordes. And I'll be honest, when I first played it, I didn't like it. But it was a little bit different than it was in its final form. But the reason I didn't like it was because like teams, the revive loops that used to happen on teams were happening so often in that because you couldn't decap very easily. But then they made like a really small tweak. Like after feedback, I was just saying that it's just way too hard to manage teams. Like you have to somehow kill everybody at the same time, otherwise the revive loop's going to come in, and that was what was happening constantly. And then I can't remember who it was. I don't even think I could even say who it was if I could. But one of the developers basically, they came up with an idea where the most basic walker, I can't remember what its name is, but if that walker walks over an enemy, it decaps them. So like if you've got full control, it decaps the people that they walk over. And it made it much more balanced because if you had that massive control, the revive loop could come in before you moved. But if you had the control and you like did a control card on the last person, you know, or like one of the revivers and stuff like that, the walkers could walk over their bodies and decap, and it made such a big difference. It was so good after that, basically. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see. They did bring it back, right? I remember they brought it back and it was like 5 stars for 1 or 2. And honestly, I built actual 5-star teams. I had this really cool like Mia. I had, you know, Red Negan, the 5-star Red Negan. I'll try and bring him up on. I'll go into the tower. I've never used that character before. I only used him. I also used 5-star. I can't remember her name, man. She gave bonus HP. I used a full alert team. And I had Mia with an alert pistol, and I had her with the defenses on either side of her, and Mia was last. Man, it was such a like cool idea in my head, and I used to defend a lot with it. It was really good fun. Crazy unbalanced, but unbalanced for who? Defense or attack? Like, I used to rip teams on my attack. It really there was like 3 different attacks I kind of built. There was like the Whisperer plus AoE nuke. Then there was like, I used to do this ticking time bomb one. Like, I go back and look at some of my Horde videos, man. It was actually fun. Like, you could do an invisibility ticking time bomb walker. You just give them the Whisperer invisibility for like 1 turn, or like 1 wave, and they walk towards the enemy, and then they get there, and you could put 2 more in, knowing that enough would attack that one, and they just self-destruct. It's just so good fun. It was actually good fun, like that. I'm one of the top players in my faction, but I'm free to play. Yeah, but are you competitive in World Champions? Right? Yeah, War of Champions champion equals no sleep for 36 plus hours with voice chat with complete overkill synergy. Sounds fun. I mean, I get it. I don't mind the voice chat stuff. I used to play first person shooters, and I think that if something is required like team chat to make the level of competitiveness higher, it actually makes it competitive, you know? I used to play first person shooters as a team with no voice chat, and then we evolved into like, it was before like there was actual team comms like Discords and stuff like now. We used to use like Roger Wilco and stuff like this, and even was it MSN Messenger, but you could only speak to one other person at a time, so we used to have pairs. We used to have pairs of people, and you used to stick with that person. It was 6-on-6 game, and you used to stick with your pair so you could talk to them. And then obviously we managed to get a server on, I think it was called Ventrilo or something like that. It might have even been TeamSpeak. I can't remember. It was one of those. But yeah, voice comms is vital for team play. It just is. They really need to bring back old school arenas. Yeah, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. That's not going to happen for sure. It went to Mythic for a reason. I think they're better off just trying to fix the current ones. Some of them were pretty bad. Draft's always been kind of messed up. I'm free to play and still score 800k plus every war. That's not what I'm saying. You can score tons every war. Free to play, being free to play doesn't mean you're not going to score as an individual. But you're never going to win War of Champions if everyone's the same. If you're free to play and everyone's the same free to play as you, it's never going to happen. You know, this isn't like some crazy story where like a basketball team came out of nowhere and won with pure talent. That just doesn't happen in RCS. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't happen. There's no Leicester City stories in this game, basically. Draft arenas gives me... Okay, great. Yeah, I think you just remove tanks from that and that'll be fine. I think if you remove tanks, that'd be great. And also make the selection of characters you can choose from much larger, and just make it so you have to choose 5 from that large group rather than like the waves of characters. So give people 50 characters to choose from or 40 characters to choose from, and they choose 5. And remove tanks and you're good. I think maybe keep medics in there, but I don't know. Maybe limit it to like 10 damage roll characters, 10 tanks, 10 of each maybe, and just give us 50. And you get, it's kind of rubber to green on that one. At the end of the day, people are going to always choose 2 or 3 damage roll characters. But the way they do it currently is rough. Hordes was completely free to play, plus the characters that most people had already sold, so it was a bit hit and miss for participation. I mean, the thing I didn't like about Hordes, like if I have got to be honest, there was a lot that I liked, but the thing I didn't like was the not the scoring system, but like the ranking system. It was leagues based, and it was just trash rewards. Honestly, it was terrible rewards. They were given like league tokens. And then I think they adjusted it a little bit. It's kind of like Onslaught, right? And then I think they adjusted it a little bit where like top 10 got rewards, but there was no milestones as well. Milestones are key for anything to be successful, in my opinion. I know they brought in missions for Onslaught, and that made Onslaught a lot better. But they just should have kept to the old system. And it would have been good. They could just make it server based. I don't know why they don't make it server based. Be better. You could have faction hordes and you could have solo hordes. It would actually be good. Or we could have one faction hordes and one solo hordes a month, and just have that on the weekend where there's no war. And people can just maybe just make them only solo then, because people actually may not want to actually participate. But something to do if you want to do it. I think that's it. I think we did it. Okay, I was going to look in the tower, right? I said I was... Okay, we did that. Nice. Said I was going to look in the tower. I think I have to level up the character. Oh, no, it's Monday, of course. There's nothing to do. So, I always forget Monday's just a blank day. The 5-star character was Negan, and he was like... Hobo Negan. The guy living under a bridge. Where is he? No, I haven't passed him. This guy I had as the leader, right? And the reason I had him is because he gave all ranged teammates defense, but he gave them a very large bonus to AP when taking damage. And I thought in my head, and I was right because it worked amazingly. But I thought in my head, AP on defense would be amazing in Walker Hordes because you're going to get attacked a lot. And you could potentially get your rushes like every turn. You know, much more consistently. Especially if you've got a very heavy defense team. And I did because I had the 30% defense buff here. And I had 5 alert characters with the alert weapon. So obviously I had an extra 50% defense. It was just crazy. This is when they made it the 5-star one. I also had her, and she gave out bonus HP, which was nice. And I can't remember the other characters I used. I think I had I think you could only use one of each character, and I had a Mia, who was a 5-star. She was the one who held the weapon. I might have shown it. I'm not sure. I think I had a command as well. I don't know who it was though. But I'm pretty sure I had a command. Oh no, I had him. He was great because he could revive, but if you killed him, he gave AP to everybody. So I had him quite early on in the team. And he revived 2. Right? 2? I swear he revived 2. Did he only revive 1? I swear he revived 2. I can't remember who my last character was, honestly. The leader plus those 3. It might have been an AoEer. That's someone who had big AoE damage. I think it was a more tanky character though. I can't remember who it was. It potentially was a hold the line. It might have been a hold the line. Because, like, if you had them deep in your team, they'd get buffed. Just to stay alive a little bit longer. I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember. But it was just fun. It was just fun. And they unfortunately only did that for, like, 1 war. And then they didn't do it again. Like, with 5 stars. They just didn't actually... I think that was the very last Hordes. They just said no. And I'm guessing the reason they're not doing Hordes, and just straight up, it didn't make them much money. It didn't make them much money. But the thing is, right, in my head, they don't do anything on non-war weekends anyway. Right? They just don't. It's got to make them at least $5. right? You assume they've got to make at least $5 off of doing a Hordes tournament. The entire game, someone's going to buy an offer with Horde cans in it or something. I know there's people like me with loads, but surely someone... It might have been Dwayne, yeah, it might have been Dwayne. But surely someone's going to buy one offer, you know? I think you could spend coins as well to, like, push how many cards you could open quickly or something like that. I can't remember what you do, but yeah. Was it dual wield pistols for Sandy? Nah. So easy to monetize Hordes. I think they should just allow you to keep the walkers or buff the walkers at the end of the tournament to make it so that you've got an incentive to do well. $5 for 5 random. Yeah. It was a nice idea, let's be honest. Hordes was really nice. It just... I think the biggest issue they had was the tournament structure. It was leagues based, and there was no milestones, so people could honestly skip it without any like care. And I think people played it once, did what Bretlin did, played it once, didn't like it, and instead of what Bretlin did was try and keep up with it and learn what they're doing and actually decide, hey, actually it's not too bad. They just binned it and they just didn't play it. And that's because you never felt the need to, you know? But yeah, anyway, I'm going to do Faction Assault. It's going to tell me, hey, you can't do... Oh no, okay, I can do my auto attacks. We'll do the autos then. When it's easy, it's easy. When it's easy, it's easy. Although I might have to do another one of my attacks manually. I think I messed up an attack. I can't remember what for. I can't remember even what happened. I think... Okay, this one I actually have to do it. Okay, there we go. Five-star characters in packs. Oh, right. Yeah. It's a client-side fix, so as soon as you update, it's fixed. Yeah. FA is fixed. Hordes was different and a huge and welcome to change of pace. RIP, and yet we still buy Hurricanes. Hope sucks sometimes. I mean, it's not just hope. It's a mixture of like, if it comes back, you're going to be in a better spot, right? That's why I bought them. I did kind of stop buying them once I got over 100 though. I was just kind of like, okay, I should be good. I should be good. Too bad we never got compensated with a broken FA. I mean, we'll see, but I mean, they should have compensated us. Like I said, I think the best thing they could do is just run a 2-week side event for Faction Assault and basically reward you with getting double your rewards. So basically, you know, when you claim a crate, you get these. Okay, how do I show you? When you claim a crate, you get these 2 tokens. Just if they just run a mission for, like, let's say a certain amount of thousands of these and a certain couple of thousand of these. So where it says like gain 1,000 common assault tokens, and your reward for doing that is 1,000 common assault tokens. So all it does is basically double your rewards for 2 weeks up to a certain point. So let's say 100,000 of these and maybe like 3,000 of these, right? And it's just effectively for the next 3,000 of these you get and 100,000 of these you just get double rewards. And that's effectively the compensation. But also it will get people back into Faction Assault because there's going to be people who just binned it. Just because they tried it, it's been crazy struggle and they just won't go back to it. They just won't go back to it. These things are such easy fixes. It's like, I think a lot of these game devs like miss certain types of people. Not to be too offensive here, but oh damn, it didn't stack. Okay, what do I do? I can do signal here. Actually, being slow is not good here. Actually, I only need to get 4 mil. We're good. But the whole thing about like, oh, the developer doesn't play the game. It isn't just RTS people think this, but I think it's also like there's quite a lack of empathy a lot of the time on developer side towards like the gamer struggle, and this is in almost every game. There's very few games that I've ever seen where the developer's been like in touch with the community heavily, you know, in terms of the struggles and stuff, regardless of what game you play. Like gacha games, there's struggles non-stop, and this is why there definitely should be like someone in that position with a lot of authority, honestly. Like you know in the military, right? There's like a chain of command, right? They need a chain of command with these gacha games where part of the chain of command is effectively what is normally in the military would be the medic. So like the medic or the doctor can say like, yo, Lieutenant, you've had a head injury, you're not fit for command effectively, and he can overrule the boss because he's the doctor, because it's his area of expertise. So there needs to be like a person that can be effectively do that, as long as it doesn't undermine certain things too much, but like is more about player happiness and player you know, I don't know, more of a psychological position. Just thinking about, because I remember there's been various points, especially in RTS, where a lot of the community's been quite dread-filled. The future's been bleak, you know, and that's happened like over the last 4 years. So I think this isn't an RTS issue though. I think this is a gacha game issue, and it'd be a really good position to have for someone to be in that position to keep the game like healthy from a community standpoint. Now, some people might think the community manager should be that person. To a certain extent, yeah, maybe they should maybe work with this person, but it shouldn't be the community manager. Just my thought anyway. Do you think that this game is going to be alive in 4 years? I don't think so, no. I don't think so. Like, the way it is right now, I don't know what's going to happen. But, like, in the next month, they could do a multi-week event. It could feel much better. You know? Who knows? But 4 years is a long time. It's only been out for... Let's forget about it from a player base perspective. Like, the player base is quite small, but just the game perspective, it's an old game now. It would have, unless, I don't think they're going to give it a facelift. It'll cost too much money. Like, some games get facelifts. Like, I played MMORPGs that get facelifts, you know. Visual upgrades. The best visual upgrade I think we've seen in RTS happened in the 5-star era. I can really remember. And it was a fast character. I think she was a 6-star actually. And they don't really reuse this too much, but they look really cool, right? Like the weapon burn here, it looks really cool. You know, they've only used this like 2 or 3 times though. That's the best visual upgrade thing I've seen in the game since like the beginning when I started. This was like, wow. I don't think I've seen much else come out that was visually like interesting, you know. RTS should offer free therapy for its players. I agree. No, I'm mainly talking about having them for like the person would barely even realize they exist as a player, but it'd be more like that person would be communicating that sort of thing with players, with the developers. You know, I've done it a couple of times myself where I've just been like, where's the fun? What's enjoyable? And that's quite a big, that's something that developers don't always think about. It could be like, how's this make us money? Where's the profit? And that unfortunately isn't every developer. It's just unfortunately had the like how it can end up. See, look, these actually look legit. No, that's all I can. That's the last one I can really remember. RTS is an 8-year-old game at this point, and it's doing pretty well, good for its age, even the amount of bugs it has. There aren't that many bugs, to be honest. There's a couple of combat bugs, but these are always gonna crop up. It's just about them being fixed in a legitimate amount of time. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna get a facelift. So like, it's still gonna. It looks old. Let's be honest. This don't look fresh. It looks old. Also, this here, the thing I'm showing you right now, the town screen. This has a negative connotation with a lot of players now to town building games. You know, where you city builders, and a lot of people don't like city builders. And I think a lot of people might have played this game thinking it's a city builder, and it's not a city builder. The town is just like kind of there in the background. The town is kind of here like how it is in XCOM, where you've got a base. It's just like in the background, something to do. It's nice, but this isn't the meat of the game, you know. But yeah. Oh yeah, I'm doing this S-Class right, but we're doing the first 3 of each one. First 3. Whatever happened to Invisinerd? Invisinerd is no longer the community manager. If you go and check out my update 37.2 video, I go over Invisinerd's leaving as community manager. And we have a new community manager now. They've only been in the job like a week or so. Like 10 days. So it is very early days. Invisinerd got bit while working in the server room. Yeah. I mean, he just doesn't work on anything like RTS related anymore. I think he still works as Scopely. But if you're interested, message him. You know, if you're interested, message him. Maybe he'll tell you. Maybe he won't. But yeah, it's up to him. But I went over the original announcement once upon a time in that 37.2 video like 10 days ago or so. He is now a Scopely developer. I don't think so. But if that's what you think. I think that if we go with another tier of fighters past Mythic, I'd step away from RTS. No, I agree, Hando. I don't think the game would be able to survive it, honestly. It would struggle. Is it inevitable? Hard to know. It's hard to know. Feels good, sounds good. It does indeed. For its age. I mean, I know what you're saying. There are some things that are visually very nice. Like, for instance, when they did the Mythic character profiles, they visually look very nice compared to old character profiles with the art and stuff in the profile. Now, I'll say this. I know the person who actually, like, had quite a massive hand in how that was all designed and stuff. I used to talk to him quite a lot. And he liked my content. I'm going to go ahead and say he watched one of my videos. I'm just going to take credit for that. Not that it was all me, but I actually said, what you see here, right, where you see the character's art here as their visual. I actually said that this should be the case because this identifies the character much better than the stock images they used to use in this era. Yeah, like you could have like loads of different characters and it's quite hard to identify which one's which. If you've got like different types of, let's say a Rick, sometimes they have exactly the same portrait, you know. Not so much now because these are legitimately just all the same character. I'm just trying to find. I think it was Dante I used as an example. Maybe I'll just type Sandy. Okay, it's not too crazy. It's quite easy to identify those two. But these two are a little bit harder, right? The visuals are similar enough. Sure, you could probably work out which one's which, but there are some. I think there was Dante. Was crazy difficult. Was it Dante? I thought it was Dante. I think it was Dante. I think there was another Dante, and they were just very hard to like. There was Tyrese. Tyrese was probably the best one, actually. Was it this one? And the 5 stars. So these two look exactly the same, pretty much. You know? It is the same. You can see it's the same face. They reach the same face, which is fine, you know? Actually, wait. Has that got someone else's face underneath it? Or is that just like a hairy neck? Looks like it's someone else's chin. Anyway, and I complained that it was too hard to differentiate between characters, and then we had the actual arts used. Because I think the only time the art was used on characters was when they got ascended. It was really weird. Real weird. The thing is, you have a loyal following if you don't nurture the following with the very least communication as to what the game is doing and going. You are not going to make players who play other. I don't get. Wait. You have a loyal following if you don't nurture the following with at the very least communication. Yeah, but I mean, when you're a content creator, if you're talking about me as a content creator, I can't really think about my player base too heavily, my follower base too heavily, when it comes to drastic changes to my channel, because inevitably some people just won't want to play new games, like you say. It's just as simple as that. So it's better to be just play games that you enjoy, like genuinely, and I think people can pick up on how genuinely you enjoy the games. Like, I genuinely like playing RTS. I'm not faking that I like playing the game, you know? So I think people pick up on that. It's pretty much as simple as this. Are these the ones I'm going for? Akira, yeah, okay. Akira. It's time for a new town skin. Do we have a summer skin? I can't remember. Pots of gold and then like 4-leaf clover windmills. Right. Yeah, that's what it said. I don't know. Did we have a town skin for that? I don't think we had a town skin for St. Patrick's Day. I don't think it's his Discord title equals developer. That's just a role on Discord. And I think it might be to, like, if someone works at Scopely, they'll just be given that role. The only person who will get community manager is the community manager for the game. It's just as simple as that. Unless they were to create another role, that would be the only other way around doing it. But it's still so he has admin status on the server, that's all. Because he still works for Scopely. A developer would mean he's, you know, developing the game in terms of like behind the scenes. I don't think that's happening. He's still going to be front row, just not in RTS. Invisible was in my old faction. Yeah, I mean, he used to play RTS. He was, I think he even, I don't know how much I should say here actually. He played War and stuff like that as well. I know he still wards. Like he even said, I'll say this. He even said like he was traveling in one of the more recent wars and still managed to hit a certain milestone. Even though he was traveling and stuff, like he managed to hit top milestone. But yeah. But yeah. No, not you as a content creator, but Scopely for RTS. Scopely title, play other Scopely titles and feel nothing but resentment to the company to ever get used again. I mean, I think it comes down to some players can have personalities as well, you know, and there can be some players who have a personality which doesn't fit for games, honestly, like these kind of games, in terms of they're just not, they're gonna feel a certain way about things being out of their hands, and some people just don't like that, right? In terms of like it's dictated upon them by an evil company, basically. Some people can't take that, and I get that. Because you're saying about Scopely, this is a lot of companies, man. I see this hatred that Scopely has is in every game, in every like people play FIFA and straight up hate EA, you know. It's just I've just come to the conclusion after gaming this long that they're just, some people are just like this. You know, it's just there's not much you can do about it. You know, and I was like it to a certain point at some points in when I was gaming, but I kind of came to the realization: do I want to be that person? I just like always getting ragey about stuff. Sure, I get annoyed at stuff, and when things get bad, I talk about it, but I'm not gonna let it ruin my day. The games are meant to be the games, you know. It's not my life. As much as it's my job to create content on this game, I'm not gonna let it affect my day that much. Some games just keep adding and communication despite the age and player base. Some do, but the majority of the games that I've ever seen, and I don't think I've ever seen a game that people haven't hated the developers of for some reason, you know. For instance, I played CSGO for a while, just like casually, just for fun, and people hated Valve, even though CSGO was quite regularly updated. It was effectively a free-to-play game. I think it actually might be free-to-play now, I'm not sure. People hate. There's always going to be something people hate. Just you can't please everybody. It's impossible. I think things could be done better for sure. Like personally, I'd like there to be more open talks, but they can be risky because they used to do this once upon a time. They did it on the forums, right, where there was devs who would talk and chat and talk with the community. But it only takes one, and this is proof because it only takes one misstep, and one person misstep by accident, just communicated something, and it had a massive negative repercussions, financial repercussions as well for Scopely. And then they just pulled that all the way back. So it's risky, like from their perspective as well. And that's why a lot of the time they don't do it. And when I say they, I just mean companies, not Scopely specifically, but it will be part of the reason why Scopely don't do it. They don't have a person who's also just pure communication. The community manager isn't a communications manager. It's just a community manager. They don't necessarily have to talk directly to the community or even openly to the community to be doing their job properly. Because there's a lot more that goes on their jobs than most people realize in terms of like management and stuff. I've worked with nearly 10 community managers across multiple games. And very, very few, like I think none of them to a certain extent have really been crazy communicative with the player base as a whole, because it's just you can't, and then you get pulled into it, and it's something you have to do consistently that you have to keep up with. You know, maybe that's another role. Maybe that's talking about the other role I talked about was player happiness, effectively making sure people are happy is an actual role within a company. Maybe there needs to actually just be someone whose only job is to just talk to the community. Like, be on a Discord for like 6 hours a day just talking. Because that maybe is needed, but, you know. RTS, I think it's a bit late for that. I'm talking like a big game. And maybe that would be good. Maybe that would be good. How long do you think RTS has left before the end? I don't know. It could be 6 months. It could be 2 years. Who knows? Yeah, I think it comes down to you as an individual. I don't think there's gonna be too many people left when it comes to the servers being shut down. Let's put it that way. I think most people would have left by that point in terms of decided that they're not gonna play. What they're trying to say is, if Scopely doesn't update us on what's going on or the future of the game, what are our chances of us coming back for the other games? Yeah, I mean, I get it, but there's only so much transparency that you can give. And again, if you give transparency once, it's going to be expected that it's going to happen every time, and it can't necessarily happen every time. I'd like there to be like roadmaps, like in some other games I play. I don't know if Seamless is still here, but we play a game, and they kind of just roughly outline things that they just want to address, just with like one-liners. But they don't say when. They just sort of say like at the end of 2023, rather than like March, or like November or something. So they say by the end of 2023 they want to address like how arenas work, let's say, in RTS, or like the end of 2003 they want to, like, would that be enough for people? It wouldn't be enough detail. What's going to change? And then there's some people who don't like this. It gives them anxiety that things are going to change. There's loads of different types of people. That communication from the devs on the Michonne nerf fix. I mean, it definitely was a fix, and it wasn't a nerf. Her damage was doing what it was advertised as. The real thing is, how did people have her for that long and not report that she was doing too much damage? That's the real thing, right? As if, like, unless people are that stupid, like I didn't have her, because she was a promo, but unless people are that dumb that they didn't see how much damage she was doing. I think if you actually go back to my content, I remember playing with her on a roadmap and just going, wow, she does a lot of damage. I even said it at the time, like on one roadmap playthrough, but if you're playing with her consistently, you'd surely notice that she's doing twice the amount of damage that she's meant to be doing, compared to someone who's doing exactly the same damage numbers on their rush, but not doing the same damage. But I guess, yeah. Like, where was the compensation for the people who didn't have her in that time? That's what I want to know. I thought Scopey said in 2021 that early 2022 they were doing away with select recruit tokens or something like that. Yeah, was it early 2022? It was actually, wasn't it? It was early 2022. No more select recruit tokens. Yeah. Where do we still get them rewarded? Do we get them in? Do we get them in territories? I think we get them in territories, don't we? That's a weird one. I think that we used to get them in our daily rewards, like the you know, the new system. I actually did highlight it in a PC meeting. I was like, look, we're still getting select recruit tokens in here, guys. Like, surely this is the time to update it. Like this one here. It used to be in the daily thing, wherever it is. Why can't I see it? It used to be in here somewhere, where you used to get. I don't know where it was, but it used to be in here. And they removed it. I think you can get select recruit tokens in your scav camps, right? Let me just check territories. Is it here? Or is this 5-star tokens? Okay, this is Mythic. Maybe they've changed it. Maybe they've changed it. I'm not sure if they've changed it recently. But didn't this used to be select recruits? I don't think that was recent, to be honest. Let me see. Let me long press. I got it from somewhere. So they're still in select territories. But yeah. I have actually done some temples on that wheel. But, I mean, I've slowly been accumulating them. Like, you could probably go back to my last end of month video, which was actually 2 months ago. I still wanted to make some content on that, addressing that, but and just see how many tokens I've had, so to see how many tokens I've gained in 2 months, and it would just basically tell you how select recruit tokens are. Oh, they're obviously not as heavily around as other tokens are, but they shouldn't exist at all. You know, they shouldn't exist at all. Or how after 5 months of the end of Conquest and gathering huge amounts of veteran rings, they wanted to try and act like it was a huge bug the entire time. It was a bug, right? It wasn't a bug the entire time. I think it was only a bug for like tiers 5 and 6 or 3 and 4. I can't remember which tiers it was. I think it was before 5, 6 came out. It was 3, 4 that was the bug, right? It was an issue. It did reward people who got there first and obviously completed it first. Should they have addressed it? I don't know what they really realistically could have done, like, to sort that issue out. They could have maybe put a cap on people's accounts, because, like, they could have. I had over 100,000 at one point. They could have probably said like 20,000 vet rings cap, and then so that at least it brings people down to 20k, which would have been fair, and then uncapped it again afterwards, so like you could accumulate it afterwards, right? I think that would have been like reasonable. But yeah, and honestly, because they didn't, this is the messed up thing, right? Because they didn't fix that, right, and they just allowed it to happen, they're never going to do anything else again with lieutenants. Lieutenants is just going to gather dust now, right? They're never going to add anything potentially like for fun. They could have added another system in here. Once you hit max, there's like another system you can spend your stuff on. They're never going to realistically add anything here, because the same reason they'll never update this wheel here. You know, the reason they'll never update this wheel here is because there's people like me who've got pulls. Not a huge amount of pulls now. It's less than 100. I used to have like over 150, but just because I've slowly but surely been doing 10s every now and again. But the same reason they don't update this wheel, you know? Same old reason. Nah, I agree, Hando. I've actually talked about that in the past. I might have to do a stream one time, guys, quite a short stream, where we just like talk about all the small things that could potentially be improved in the game. Very small things, not like massive things. I'm not talking about like grand scale things, but I think small tweaks that shouldn't take too much dev time. Like mod scrap total that you can hold, and also the daily thing that you can get. Maybe the amount that 3 million materials actually gets you, you know? Because this was implemented during gold mods, you know? I have over 1 million, waiting to see what exactly. It was select recruits and prestige wheel, and we still get both types of tokens to this day, and both wheels are still there. It might have been prestige tokens in that that daily thing then. It might have been prestige tokens, to be honest. Okay. What have I got? 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. This is the life of no golds. Just get some silvers. No. Just get some silvers ready for when I hit the next level up. Although I am doing some 5-star leveling right now, right? 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Okay. I'll go for a tier 3. And then 2 tier 2s, I guess. I can't remove my own comment. Oh, I think you did. I don't mind they leave the dead wheels, but could substitute small amounts of gear medals or anything that has some use. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree. A lot of this stuff's outdated. And that's a bigger issue in the game. Like, when the game doesn't just... it looks a little old, sure. But it is old. There's so many things in the game that a veteran player, when they play it, just knows that it isn't even used. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6. Oh yeah, I'm getting rid of one of these anyway. Okay, I'll go for another tier 3. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I've got to do some of the faction, so I forgot about that. I've got over 50 scrap boxes unopened. Yeah, I mean, same. Actually, probably not now. I've actually used quite a lot of them. Is this the one I have to do? 23 mils. We'll actually attack it, guys. We're actually going to attack it. Because now that I can do damage, it's nice. Look at that, half of its HP gone in one turn, guys. Look at that. It's crazy. Or 2 turns. Before, it would be like 10% of its HP gone by now. It was pretty messed up. Pretty messed up. And then next time, I'm going to actually nuke this. And I nuke it as they're about to go off. Look, they're all going off. They're like, yeah, I'm going. We're just about to blow up your stuff, mate. Are you though? Alright. She actually might. It actually might. What does this do? Alright. knowledge key. Actually, that's problematic health reduction, right? It's a little problematic. Just a little bit. The vet rings issue started with Conquest 3, and anything after awarding an excessive amount. I used to tell folks to get to Conquest 3 to fix their vet rings issue. You also have many choice. You also have too many once you got there. Yeah, I think it was fixed right before Conquest 5 came in, but that like window of delay between like the entirety of Conquest 3 and 4 plus the window of waiting for Conquest 5 to come out was enough that people just got massive numbers. How many shots does she shoot? You can see her crossbow shoot like so many bolts. Animation's really crazy. So good. Nice. 10 million. Bit slow. Guess he resisted a little bit. Good old resists. Okay, that's that all done. I'm glad that's fixed, honestly. I'm glad that's fixed. Folks are now perma constrained on both the vet rings and training supplies, one or the other, if they were in early Conquest when it was fixed. I mean, they're playing it now how it should be. So like you're comparing it to people who effectively have benefits because of the bug, which the people who, I mean, I'm just going to straight up say the people who had the benefit of the bug would have already finished all of their Conquest by now and updated all of their lieutenants anyway, because they would have to have been advanced through Conquest enough to be able to take A, advantage like you said, and B, it's just been so much time since Conquest ended anyway. Like it's been ages, it's been like a year, right? So like in that year, I probably have accumulated more of the training supplies. You could probably go back on my streams and check, but I've probably accumulated more of those training supplies from just in that year than I did during the bug, for instance. I don't think there was any. Was there training supply issues during the bug? I don't think there was. It was just vet rings. So we had one constraint, but not two. It is rough though, but at least things like arenas and stuff are not as competitive as before. So people who need actual rings can just get their rings in arenas. Like I'm not going in on arenas because, yeah. $70. I don't know. It just seemed to be doing tough tons of bolts. You could see like 5 bolts going out at a time, which would have made Inner Circle make more sense. Hardly anyone would have had level 720 if the proper amounts had been awarded. Yeah, true. Inner Circle, I don't think it was bin because of that though. It was bin because of balance, honestly. Like when it was talked about, I just brought out a video saying this is going to massively destabilize the game. Honestly, that was an end game for me. Like, if Inner Circle came out in the way they advertised it, I probably would not be playing the game right now, because that would have been drastically misbalanced the game. Where people have like all the promos have effectively like tens of percentage more stats than me. Considering this is a stat-based game, it was just that would be impossible. I think there are things they could implement to increase stats on characters that exist, but it has to be open to everybody. It's just people who pay can do it faster. You know, I think like a vet ring style thing would have been, not vet ring. Yeah, I guess vet ring. Where like you vet ring a character, but just with a different currency. You know, I think that I would prefer vet rings to come in over a new character tier, for instance, personally. And if we get customization on that, even better, because then it just brings a higher level of like management. It'd be great. So an unbalanced thing would have stopped the bug before it happened. No. The unbalanced thing was Inner Circle. What Inner Circle was doing was basically like for every character you had, you could increase your lieutenants further. I think the biggest issue they had was they had a lot less of a certain type of lieutenant. Like you can see, like control is 3 rows exactly. Whereas this one's going to be slightly more, 3.5 rows. I've got every single mythic character almost, barring like, let's say 15 characters. And that's just ultra and advanced characters. Look at how many medics there aren't. There's not like another 10 medics that I haven't got. They just don't release medics as much. And then it would have had to massively increase the amount of medics they release. And they could only really do this in 2 ways. Promo or free-to-play. There would be like 20 free-to-play medics running around. Damage roll characters. Over 4 rows. And then tanks should be decent as well. Oh, it's only 2. It's actually kind of surprising. There's more support characters than tank. Sorry, more control characters than tanks. That's a little surprising. But by no surprise, damage roll characters are the most heaviest. But anyway, it is what it is. I think I'm going to wrap my stream up here, guys. It's been about 2 hours. I'm going to be streaming on Thursday some RTS. If you want to drop by on Thursday. Otherwise, I'll be streaming tomorrow, guys. Some All-Stars again. If you want to drop by and say hello. I'll be streaming a little bit earlier the All-Stars than I did the RTS today. I thought there was a content pool today. A content pool? Contest pool. No, there isn't, no. Aaron's finishes next Monday, and there was a week where there was no promo. If there's no character release, like I've already done Raiden's. If there's no character release, there's no giveaway on it, basically. And I do it roughly 10 days after the character comes out. So 10 days ago there was not a character released. No worries, Tiago, no worries, it's all good. Damage roll characters have been the most, but they don't really have the power that the tanks do. I know the damage dealers always have more power. They have to, but otherwise you wouldn't be able to beat defenses. But they try and balance it to a certain extent to make it. It's just a balancing act. It do be a balancing act. If you haven't hit like already though on the stream, guys, please do. Like I said, this is the end of the stream. I'll be streaming on Thursday some RTS. Tomorrow I'll be streaming All Stars. So hopefully see you on one or both of those. I hope you have a good rest of your week. Thank you very much for tuning into this stream. Thank you very much for the super chat earlier on the stream from Seren. Was it Seren who did the super chat? Who did the super chat? Was it Seren? It was. And I think Seren also did the gifted sub, or gifted membership. Seren was very nice to the stream today. I do appreciate it. I will see you in the next one, guys. Take care. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving. Goodbye, guys. Goodbye.